Because I can't hear anything. Am I the only one that can't hear anything?
You're not the only one since that he hasn't joined investor. Probably we should chat him on the Slack channel.
I'm here. Hello, guys.
Not the only one. I'm also not hearing anything as well.
I'm here now. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Maybe I had to start the class. Can you guys hear me? You chat them up for a while. But you guys don't hear me? Can you guys hear me? I can hear you now. Yes, okay. Yes. I've been here for a while. Just check
We
fine.
can hear you.
Okay, come. So we'll start from where we stopped yesterday. And some of you have raised concern about the videos not being uploaded yet. So for that reason, I promised you guys that I was going to give like a quick rendezvous of what we discussed on Tuesday and on Wednesday. So we'll not leave anybody behind, and it will be more or less like a refresher for those that are in class Tuesday and Wednesday. So for that reason, I'll be sharing my screen now, and I'll briefly touch on what we talked about on Tuesday and Wednesday. Then we'll go properly into arrays, and if there's time, we'll also go properly into objects. And if there is time again, we'll also go properly into functions. But we'll do them bit by bit. So I'll be sharing my screen now, and we'll start from where we stop. Just give me 1 minute. Let me close some private tabs. So can you all see my screen?
Yes.
So let me start off by increasing the size, like you guys have always said. Yes, this should be enough. Just this. So as usual, if you have any questions, kindly use up your hands or pop them in the group chat. Then I'll check. So for explanation purpose, I would come up and open a new folder here. I'll just call it explain. So this folder is for explaining from top to bottom, as I promised you guys yesterday. So as we've been doing, we'll start with index.html. So this file basically is what we use to connect our JavaScript file. And like I said earlier, JavaScript basically adds functionality and interactivity to a website. So you go onto a website and you see like a modal. It's with the help of JavaScript that this modal pops on and go off. You see like a testimonial where you can click on slide and the testimonial moves from next to previous, like an image slider, the menu button, if on the mobile screen to show the menu. All those stuffs are with the help of JavaScript. And JavaScript does way beyond that, especially if you are building large apps. So, but on layman terms, JavaScript is what adds functionality to a website, what adds it to be dynamic, to be interactive. That's what we do with JavaScript. So first off, you have to have a JavaScript file to do all those things. And you can use your IDE, you can use your console, and you can use your terminal. So I'll explain to us how to use our console to run JavaScript files or to run JavaScript basically. So I'm opening a private incognito tab. Where is it here? Here's our incognito tab. And I open like a fresh tab. So this is a fresh tab, basically. Nothing's happening here. And like we discussed in our class earlier, how to open your console, you can use the F12 key. If you pop the F12 key, then your console should come on. Now these are our consoles. So this is where we'll be working. Like some of us yesterday said they could not see our screen because they were focusing on this blank tab. So for that reason, I would do this. So at least this is the more serious part now. So this is what we'll be working on today. So we can run our JavaScript file on our console, and I'll test that by saying 1 plus 2. If I click enter, what comes on is 3. You can do anything you want to. I can say const name is equals to, we used divine yesterday. Let's use Abel today. So I'll say Abel. I press enter. Now it's saved. If I say console.log name, what comes on is Abel. So I'll be able to run JavaScript code here in my console. This is a way to run a JavaScript code. And the other way I explained again is using the JavaScript file in your IDE. So if you're using WebStorm, you're using VS Code, you're using Atom, you're using anything, you can also run JavaScript file here. All you need to do is open a JavaScript file. So there are two basic ways to name your JavaScript file, especially if you are building with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It's not a prerequisite, it's not compulsory, but for conventional purpose, you are likely to see app.js, or scripts.js. Either ways, you can name your files. You can name it app.js, you can name it scripts.js, because this is where the scripting language comes in or your logic comes in. This is where it happens. Do you understand? It's not compulsory to name it, but ideally, if you are going to your app, you should have like a app.js or a scripts.js. But for this purpose, we'll be using app.js. That's my personal favorite. You can switch it to wherever you like. It's not compulsory. So if you want to link your JS file, because you can do everything here, and now let's start again. I'll say console.log. And I'll say hello. If I save here and I come to our console, as you see, there's no hello happening here. Nothing's happening here. But let me go run. I've not run the live server. Let's run live server. Let's run our live server. Open with live server. So let's come here and see. Tab is down. Our new tab will say 127 file. Yes. So these are live server basically. But as you can see, there's no hello happening here. Nothing's happening here. Do you understand? So for you to come up and of your JavaScript file to be visible on your console, you need to link them up. And there are two ways to linking your JavaScript file, like I explained in the last class. You can use the body tag. So let's go to our HTML file. So you hold Shift and press 1, you have this exclamation mark. You press enter, you have this boilerplate. So this is like a starting file for HTML, basically. So you can do two things to link your file. You can come below your body. So the closing tag of your body, just below it, just above it rather, you can say script. So if you say script and you come to this,
Hello.
so this is what can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Okay.
So as I was saying here, so you can link your JavaScript file in two ways. So the first we'll be discussing is linking it in your body. So in the body tag, just right above the closing tag for your body, you can put your script tag there. Then you press /, then it takes you to the upper folder. Then you click on your app.js. So doing this now, you've connected your JavaScript file to your HTML file, and you can use it in your web app. So if you come back here and check, if you refresh, let's see, you can see the hello now. But before, we're not seeing it because we're not connected. You can also come here and add it to the head tag. But if you do this ordinarily, it works. But ideally, what you should do is to add the default key here. So what happens if you're running your JavaScript file? Because the head tag has to communicate with the browser engine. That's what the head tag does. It communicates with the browser head. Then the body tag communicates with your browser. You can see what you can see comes on the browser. When JavaScript files run on the machine, sometimes it doesn't pick up this. It just go on and it doesn't pick up this. That's why most developers add their own to above the body tag, because regardless, once it goes from top to bottom, it eventually catches this. But you can put it here and add the factory. Once you add the factory, it's telling the engine or your browser that no matter what you do, carry me along. That's what this defer key means. So defer all protocols and carry me along. That's what basically it means. So with this now, we can go back to our browser and the same thing happens. You can see the hello. So that's the second way to work with JavaScript files or to run JavaScript. The first one is using the console. Second one is using JavaScript file. So the third one now is using the terminal. And I explained to us how to use the terminal the last class. I'll do it again. So basically, these are terminal. You can pop it open in several ways. For me, I use the control and backtick. So the backtick button is below the escape button. Alternatively, you can come here, you're using VS Code. You can come here and you see terminal. You click on new terminal, then the terminal pops on. Do you understand? So those are the two basic ways to drag out your terminal. So we can say, because we have two folders here, and this is like the roots. So if you do ls, which is list items, so it will list out your two folders. So we have 001 and we have explain. So to navigate our explain, just do cd explain. So it comes to explain now. So we are in our explain folder now. Then if you press ls, you can see we have two files, the app.js and index.html. So what we need to do now to run JavaScript file with terminal. First off, you must have Node installed. So if you don't have Node installed, then it will be hard for the terminal to read certain words like Node or npm or npx. So first off, you have to download Node. If you haven't, just go to Google, type Node download, then you have your wish to download Node. Then to run a JavaScript file, all you need to do is press Node. Then what follows is the name of the file. Now we're using app.js. If you press enter, you can see hello on the terminal. So if you can come here and change it, let's change it to define. Define stuff we did last class. And if you save it and run it again, you can see it change to define. So these are the three basic ways to run JavaScript files: the console, your IDE, and your terminal. So moving forward, we also discussed how to name variables. So now, as you saw yesterday, for those that were in class yesterday, there are how you give a variable something to hold for you. So for instance, now I have 5 names in mind, but I need a particular holder for that 5 names. So how can I do it basically?
Hello, Abdul. Please confirm that you are recording, please.
It's recording. Thank you very much for the reminder. It's recording. So I can't keep saying, okay, Divine, Abimbola, Abel, Kofi, whatnot. It doesn't move. So what we need to do is, if you have like a name that you want to use all across your app, you have to have a variable to hold that name. So to declare a variable, you can do 3 things. You can use the var keyword, you can use the let keyword, and you can use the const keyword. Now, I explained to us that in as much as these 3 things do the same thing, they are very, very different. And we'll treat the var first. So var basically is the first type of variable holder. If you say var name is equals to, let's say, Maliki. What we've done now, we've assigned Malik to name. So anywhere we want to use name, what comes on automatically is Malik. And we can test that by saying console.log name. So instead of seeing name on the console, what we should see is Malik. You are seeing Malik here. So what this means is we've tied Malik to the variable name. Now, why is not advisable for us to use var is var is very, very weak in the sense that I can come and say var name is equals to PD. Now, this should not work. This should not be proper in a programming language because you should not have two variables of same name. I have var name, I have var name. So which am I going to use? Because JavaScript runs from top to bottom, what happens eventually is PB comes on the console. But what if it's Malik I intend using not PB? Then what happens? There's a bug in the code. If you check now, I see PB here. But it's not supposed to be. Ideally, it's not supposed to be. And this is the reason why we kick against using var to name your variables or to hold your variables. Because if you use var, then there's an issue. You can go on and have plenty names and you don't have any errors. I can come here and say Abel. I can come here and say Divine. I can come here and say Kenny. This shouldn't work. It's not proper ordinarily to have several names and several entities for them. It's not proper. That's why they kick against using var to name a variable. In no situations, even you should use var. It's just there for you to know, okay, yes, it's there, but don't use it. Let's use the word keyword let. Now, let is more stricter. So I'll say let name equals Anna. If I come and say let name again equals, let's say Abel, what do we have now? We have an error. If you can see a squiggly red line under, and if you hover on it, what you see is cannot redeclare plus scope variable name. Reason is you have a name up, you can have another name down. So with this, let's say you're writing like 1,000 lines of code, and along the line you forgot that you named a variable name, and you say, oh, let me name another variable name again. What happens is it immediately warns you that no, you can't do that. So using the let keyword is more stricter and curbs this irregularity. Also with the const, so I can come and say const food is equals to Eba. I can come and say const food is equals to rice. Now you have an error because you can't have two food. You can't declare food twice with the same food name and saying one is Eba, one is rice. It's not possible. You can't do this. It shows an error. If you notice now, there's the same similarities between the let and the const. What is the difference? So the difference basically is const comes from the word constant. So if you're using the word const, you know that this does not plan to change. Throughout my old app, the food I'm going to use is Eba and it's not changing. But for let is more like an initializer. So you can use let to initialize your code with the aim that maybe along the line, oh, I might change my name from Anna to Annabelle. I might change my name from Anna to Esther. But for now, hold this name for me and don't let anything hold name again. Just you. So let is more like an initializer. It holds this for the meantime. And along the line, it might change. While constant is more or less like a long time thing and does not have time or does not have plans to change. If you can answer up, what's up?
Motive is like a table that we are trying to like build, and so we have, you can have name, then you have multiple names on that table. Like let's say you have then this. So now this one that we cannot have name twice. So how do we do it? I will Bola, then and so on and so forth. Then it will display that way on the table.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll treat this, but just note your question down. I'll answer it moving forward. Just answer it now, then I'll spoil the point. But just hold it and put it in mind and answer the question. Yes.
Sir, please zoom in your
I should zoom my
screen
screen
a
again.
bit, please.
Okay, no problem. I'll do that. How about now?
It's
Okay.
fine now, sir.
No problem. No problem. So we have, as I was saying, we can have like same variable holders for different entities. So this is how you hold your variables or you declare your variables. Basically, you can use the var keyword, the let keyword, and the const keyword. Now we are going to move to the next step, and the next step is how to name your variables. So there are rules to guide or rules guiding naming of the variables. There are things you can't do while naming your variables, and there are things you can do naming your variables. Now let's take for instance now. We have let name equals let's say ground. Let me comment this one out. If you see this now, let name equals ground. But to you, you might think it twice that name equals ground. Why? Does this entity tells what this does? No. So first things first, if you're naming your variable, make sure you're naming your variable what's in line with what you're naming it with. So if you notice now, I'm saying let name equals Anna because Anna is the name of the person. Let food equals rice because rice is a meal or rice is a food that people eat. So if you're naming also, you can say let car. I say let car equals what you should expect here, an range of car, Toyota, Audi, Mercedes, Benz, whatever. But you can't say let car equals lion. Then it's an issue because lion is not a car. Why are you naming a car lion? Do you understand? So if you are naming a variable, you have to make sure that what you're naming that variable is in line with what it's supposed to hold. That's like the first rule. Second rule also is you can't name your variable with a dash. So let me say, for instance, now I want to say first name. So let's first dash name equals software. This does not work. You can't name your variable with a dash. Instead, use an underscore. So you can do this and it works perfectly. But you can't do this. This is around. You can't do this because it will throw an error. What you can do again is do space. You can't say let first space name equals software. No, it doesn't work like that. You can't give space to this. Do you understand? Because what automatically happens is it neglects this one and use this one, and which is not supposed to be because now you have two variables there with one being insignificant. Instead, what you can do is change it to a camel case. So a camel case is using like a 2-word or 3-word then starting the first letter with a small letter, then the other words that comes in between comes on with a capital letter. So let's say let's favorite food I eat. Let's say food I eat. Food I eat. So now we have 3 words here: food, I, and eat. Notice I'm starting with food with a small letter. Then also what comes after the next word is I with a capital letter. Next word is eat with a capital letter. I can also put that it, let's say this, or let's do again. Let's school we attend. Now we have school we attend. School is one word, we is one word, and attend is another word. So if you are naming your variable, make sure you do that with a camel case and start in rare cases, and there are cases where you can start your variable with a capital letter, and I will explain that in a bit. But ordinarily, when you are naming your constant, can it start with a small letter? Then if it's more than one word, then you do that with an uppercase to make it a camel case. So now, and what you can also do again to name your dollar sign. So if you add a dollar sign before starting the word, it goes, it's completely all right. You can also start with an underscore. It goes, it's completely all right to do this. But what you can't do is you can't start your with a number. Let's 2 equals 2. Ideally, this is not permissible. You can't come up and say let's 2. You can't start it with a number. You can also use some words. Some words are reserved in JavaScript. So we have the let, the if, the else, the const, the var, the delete. You can't use those certain words because they are assigned to do something else in JavaScript. So they are reserved words you can use to name. But basically, this is how to name your variables. And we also discussed declaration of variables. So there's what we call global declaration, there's what we call block declaration, and there's what we call function declaration. So if you are declaring a variable now, and I'll illustrate that to you now. So far so good. We have this food ever. This EBA now is exposed to the whole file. You can use EBA anywhere in the file because what is a global variable. And I explain that to you now. So let's say we have a function. We have a function, and the function is say my food is equals. So we're expecting this say my food is just to call what happens, and we'll console the log. Or let's see. Now, if you notice now, I've initialized food. Why are you drawing on my board? I've initialized food here as ever. And I'm not mentioning anywhere in this particular function that there's a variable named food. But let's check our console and see what we get. If we go to our console, let's refresh. Oh, I have an issue now. Can somebody tell me the issue? Someone from the last class. Can anybody tell me the issue?
You've not called it.
You haven't called the variable.
That's it. I most times forget for my variables. And you might notice from all the videos I've been doing. So now we have to call a variable for it to execute what is inside. So let's go back and see. If you notice, we have EBA here. So, and I didn't declare EBA inside the function, but this particular function has access to this EBA because this EBA is a global variable. Now let's perform another magic. Let me bring EBA inside this function. Now, as EBA inside this function, what I'll do is I'll comment out this one, then come outside and console log EBA or console log food. Let's see. If I console log food now, ideally, you might think that yes, there's food here. You should get EBA on the console. So let's check. Let's check what do we have on the console. We're having food is not defined. But why? We have food here. How is it not defined? Now, this is what they call a function scope. A function variable is variable that has declared inside the function. And these functions or this variable basically have only like they're accessible to only items inside that function. So this food we are declared now. If you're going to use it, you're going to use it only inside this function. Even though this function is 1,000 lines, you can't do anything outside. It's only inside it's going to do. Do you understand? So this is what they call function variables. So function variables in most cases are not accessible outside. There are ways to make a function accessible outside, a variable accessible outside the function. We won't deal with that now. But ideally, all variables assigned inside the function stays inside the function. So it's like what happens in Rome stays in Rome. So these are Rome here. This is what's happening in Rome. So it's going to stay in Rome. Do you understand? So we'll talk about the global variable, talk about the function variable. What is next is the block variable. So I'll illustrate that opening a block. So these are to open a block, just two curly braces, and that's all. So let's say x is equals to 6 and y is equals to 10. Now I've declared a block with x and y. So let's say I want to know the value of x now. If I come outside and say, oh, let me see what is x. Let's check our console and see. What do we have? 6. Now, hold on, let me comment this one out. And let's put this up. Now let's take note of something here now. There's a console log on line 20, and we have a particular block here. So this block, let's check what we have on our console. What do we note? X is not defined. Now, but x is there. I mean, we have x is equals to 6 and y is equals to 10. How is it not defined? So what happens, as we rightly said, is JavaScript files run from top to bottom. So what happens is, as it's running like this, like this. So it reads this console.log x. What he has in memory is everything that happens before this. So all these things, he has memorized this, but there's no x anywhere. So for sure, I can't say, I know what x is going to be, or what x will be. Do you understand? So you can't tell you that, okay, x holds 6 or y holds 10. Do you understand? So basically, everything below this console.log, he has no idea of. So because running from top to bottom, what happens below a particular action, most of the times it does not have array of. So what is going to return is undefined because above it, there's no X and it does not define anything. If I come here and say X is equals to, let's say, 8. If I check, I should see 8 on our console. Now, let's come back here again. Let's remove this. And let's hold a variable. And this is a trick question, and I'm going to throw it to the house. I might give you guys something if anybody gets this correctly. So we have X, this. Let me come down and do this. What do we expect to see on the console? Let me make it harder. Let me do this. Let me make it harder. So, what do we expect to see on the console? We can check our console. Anybody?
5.
6.
5.
5.
Let's do the chat box. 5 pop 5, 6 pop 6. Let's go. 5 pop 5, 6 pop 6. 5 pop 5, 5 error. Next one. Someone said error. I like that. Someone said error. 5. Let's see if I know what it says. Why? Nothing. Okay, this is nothing. So nobody said 6. Okay, let's see. Let's go to our console. So we have X is equals to 6 and Y is equals to 10. Let X equals 5. And nobody chose 6. I don't know why. Let's check. So if we come back to our console and we check, we say, cannot access S before initialization.
I got
We said error. That is an error practically. Yes, you're correct. Now, what happens here? And this is why I made it harder. I shifted this. Let's do an experiment. Let me move this up. So I move this up now. What comes on? Let me see. Pop your answer in the chat box. I've moved let X equals 5 now. And we have X equals to 6. So what comes to the console? Let's see. I'm on the chat box. Let's see. 5. Okay. Somebody's saying 5. 6. Okay. 6. Let's confirm. 6. Let's refresh. And let's see. We still have X is not defined. Now, I'll explain why this is happening. Prior to when I introduce this let, if you check now, let's see what we have. Let's check. You can see 6 clearly. I mean, then what makes it different that I'm considering X, I'm getting 6, and I'm saying Y is equals to 10. If I put Y here, and I should get 10 in the console, I'm getting 10. So what is the effect? Basically, if you notice, as I said, how to name a variable. I didn't name a variable here. I didn't use the bar, I didn't use the let, I didn't use the const. I just say S equals to 6. Regardless, S is equals to 6. Anywhere I'm looking for S is 6. This is not the proper way, and as you can see, it causes an error. This is what you need to do to initialize it. S is equals to 5. So with this now, we said, okay, we are putting 5 in X. We are making X hold 5. Now, for the block scope, also similar to the function scope, you can't access the variable outside this particular block. You can't. But if I bring this now, if I bring it up and I check it, and I say X now. If I check, I should get 5 on the console. I'm seeing 5. But once I bring it down like this and I check our console, you are seeing X is not defined. Because what not? This happens inside a block. And this does not have access. It's like an estate. If you don't have access to an estate, you can't enter. This particular X does not have access to this estate, so you can't come in. So that's different type of variable blocks. We have the global variable, we have the block variable, and we have the function variable. Global variables are accessible to everybody and everybody. Library, all for all for all. Everybody has access to it. The block and the functional are only usable in a particular block or a particular function. Moving on, we discussed about type of data. So we have different type of data, and I mean, most of you were in class yesterday. But for those that were in class yesterday, we talked about the string, and I'll use this file because I need to rush and explain and treat one more topic today. So type of data, let's go up and let's start from here. So basically, we have 5 major type of data. But moving on, they were splitted and some were added to it. But ordinarily, we have the string type of data. So string basically are like alphabet, words, letter. All these are examples of a string. With those alphabets, Divine could not see the string, ABC, coming. All these things you can think of are string. And to start a string, you have to use this quote mark. So string start is equals to. This is what makes something a string. Once it's in a quote, then it becomes a string automatically. So even though I put this inside, as you can see, there are numbers inside. But if you check the type of start, you get that this is a string. And I'll test it for you guys. So let's come here and come and do this. So let's do const this, and let's say console.log. So to check a type of, you can use the keyword type of, then you use start. Let's use start. So to tell you the type of data this start is, let me remove this. And let's check our console. As you can see, we have a string in our console. And let's remove this and let's replace it with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this is tricky. This is very, very tricky. With the chart, can you tell me what we are expected to see? So I'm using start equals 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm seeing type of string. Okay. Who else? Who else? String. Okay. Error. Nice. I like something different. Nice. Error. String. So let's confirm what we'll be seeing on the console. You see string, because regardless, anything that goes in between the quote, like I've mentioned, is a string automatically. And let's go and remove the string now, and let's say this is 1, 2, 3. And this was, we'll talk about our next data type, which is a number. So if you come up and check our type of, we should get number automatically. So this is a number. So number includes your float, that is 3.14, which is the value for pi, if I'm not wrong. Your decimal places, your big integers, everything under it is a number. So if you check our console now, we have number. The other type of data is called a boolean. So boolean is either true or false. So there's no third party, there's no fourth party. A boolean is either true or it's either false. So let's check our type of start. We have the boolean. So boolean is true or false. Our next one is undefined. Now for the undefined and for the null, because we treated two yesterday, and in as much as they are kind of similar, but they're also very, very different. So for the undefined now, let's do this. Let's say let's start. So what happened here is now I've initialized start, but with what? I'm not saying start is only anything. If I check the start type of start now, I'll get undefined. Reason is I'm saying okay, start is what? Is start true, is start a number, is start an alphabet, is it a boolean? What is start? I'm not saying. So for that reason now, start becomes undefined. Now, if you say null, false null, null simply means an absence of value. That's just the simple meaning of null. So it's not undefined, because undefined also is like a value. Because I saying, okay, it's there, but there's nothing to it yet. But for null, it means that there's no value to it at all, nothing is attached, either a string or a number or a boolean or nothing. So null is an absence of value, while undefined is just like an initializer that's not holding a value yet. There might be plans to hold a value, but for now, there's no value. But for null, at all, I'm sure that this thing is not going to have any value. Hence, it becomes null. So if you check our beautiful, oh, I forgot to mention this yesterday. Now, how do I put it? Let's do what we did yesterday. Let's do what we did yesterday. Quickly, first two people that can tell me why. Try not to Google. Just try not to Google. Why null returns an object. We did for array and object yesterday, and Tim and people got the answer. First two people that can tell me why null returns an object. First two people. I'm waiting. Null is a set. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so Adama, text me your number. I think he got it first. Text me your number. So there's a type of data that are called sets. So set basically, if you did mathematics and you get the word set more or less is like a group of data. I said two, so I'll take it. Coffee, text me your number too. If you're in Nigeria, text me in Nigeria. So basically, there are other type of data types, and objects has like a broad variations. So like yesterday, we discussed about arrays and objects. When we check the type of arrays in count and object, and I explained the reason why to you guys. I also discussed it on Slack. But for null also, null is also grouped into a set, and set is also a denomination of objects. So on the overview, or if you segregate everything together, null falls under an object. So basically, in as much as null can stand alone, but on the wider range of things, null is also an object. That it doesn't take away the fact that if I ask you to list 5 types of data, you can as well say string, number, boolean, object, function, null, undefined. I'll mark it for you correctly. And anywhere you go to, they'll tell you that null is a type of data. But in JavaScript, based on the fact that we are using JavaScript keyword type of, and it's already grouped into an object, same thing that array. That's why you can see objects on the console. I hope you guys get that correctly. If you have any questions that are confusing, let me know. Then I'll try my best to explain it. Any questions?
Yeah, my question.
Okay, yes. Okay, a question. I'll get to that. Don't worry, just stick with me. Work with me. I'll get to that. So now I've illustrated the string, the numbers, the boolean, the undefined and null. So now to treat Ibukun's question, how do I assign many names to a particular folder? That's where an array comes to play. So we have an array, and as I said yesterday, array is more like a tray. So I'll use the opportunity also to dive deep into arrays, since that's what we're supposed to talk about today. So basically, array is like a tray, and this tray holds several items. So imagine a visitor comes to your house and you want to serve them food. You can't go to the kitchen and bring the rice and drop on the table, then go back to the kitchen and bring the meat, come to the table, go back to the kitchen and bring. No, it becomes very, very stressful. So what we do normally is to take a tray, then put all these items inside, then go to the parlor and give the visitors the food. That's particularly how array works. So let's start with JS class. Or I like to use a smaller name, but let's use students attending JS class. So notice how I named my variable here. For every new word, I'm using capital letters, called a camel case, is equals to an array. Now, this array can hold as much names as you can think of. So we have Divine, Abel, Tim, and Kennedy. And I also add it because you asked the question. Yes, I'm correct. So basically, this class now, we have 5 names inside. And as she said, for instance, you have a table with plenty names, and you don't want to start naming name one, name two, name three, name four, name five. So name one, divine, name two, Abel. What you can do is to have a particular name. They have all the names of what's supposed to be on a table in an array. I'll tell us how to locate or how to use a particular name. So for instance, now I want to say Abel is a big boy. How do I access Abel on this array? I'll tell us how to do it. But this also on a lighter note, a type of data because an array also is under an object, but you can segregate it if you want. Do you understand? But you can also do this for an array. And I'll touch on objects and functions, then I'll come back to array, just to give you guys like an overview of what we discussed for Tuesday and Wednesday. So this is how you utilize an array. For an object is more or less like a profile. You can come and say tutors in Zuri. So we have tutors in Zuri now. It's equals to a curly brace. Now, if you note how I started, for an array, you have to initialize it with a square bracket. So this is a square bracket, and this an object. They are quite different. So if you want to start an array, you have to use a square bracket, and if you want to start an object, you have to use a curly bracket. So these are the two basic ways to start. So for source in Zuri now, it's more like a profile, like a group, almost something similar to what's the name, to array, but the difference is the object has key and value. Do you understand? So the key is like more like identifier. So I can come and say, let's use T for instance. So T is our first case study, and I'll say T is an object also, and T, or let's put this one to one, to one, to one is T. I'll say name. Name is a string T. Then we can come and say age. I don't know how old is he, but let me just say 30. Now say favorite food. Let's say favorite food is this.
Apple. See like apple.
Apple. Let's use apple. Then we can say the course or subject is taking. It's taking Node.js. Node.js. So now, if you notice now, I have an object here, and this object is holding several items. So this object has the name, age, food, and the subject. Unlike our array holding only the names, but an object now, you can have a key and the or the value. Do you understand? Because if you have to represent this inside the array, what you do now is say const t is equals to an array, then you put its age t, then you say 30, then you say happy, then you say Node.js. Let me put this. Now, this is a representation of this. But the disadvantage is, for instance, now, let's say you are giving like a white man or a Indian man, and he does not know what apple is. So if I tell the white man, please help me access his favorite food from this array, he can't tell. He might say it's tea because tea is like sounds more like tea that you drink, and you say, okay, tea is his favorite food. So you can't really tell which is which using an array. But if using an object, you can say, yes, the food is apple, subject is Node.js, the name is T, and age is. So these are like the significant difference between an object and an array. So array, in as much as it's also an object, because you can use the index as the key, but here has like a defined key and defined value. Do you understand? So you can say yes to that. I can also come here and say tutor2, and I'll use Toby. Let me use Toby. I'll say name is equals to Toby. I don't know his age. but I'll say age, let's say 32. Then I'll say his favorite food is Eba. Then I'll say subject is CSS. Now, this more like a profile. So I have a profile for this, I have a profile for this, but all of them are embedded in one object. Just imagine I have 50 profiles. Then if I'm translating it, I have to translate it into 50 arrays, which is not like advisable. This is like a better way of using an object. So an object basically is a type of data that provides you with a key and a value. Then you can access it in this manner. So this holds any type of data. You can have a function here. You can have another object, another array. You can have different kind of things you want inside an object. Do you understand? So lastly, before we go and attend to array full time, what we also have as a type of data is a function. So a function basically is something that does something. That's just the simple way to put it. Something that does something. So like we used yesterday, we have const add two numbers, and we have this, and we have this. And for the fact that we're adding two numbers, we have to have like a value we're expecting, a property we're expecting. So we put A and B. So this A and B represent the two numbers we're expecting. And I gave an assignment yesterday, and I asked you guys today because I was expecting a feedback. But I'll ask you guys for those that did it. So we have A and we have B, and we can come and say return A plus. We have an error, yes, plus 2. Perfect. So this is one way to write a function. You can also use the function to say function, then this. This is another way to write a function, but you add the variable. So let's say add 3 letters. Perfect. So you can write a function like this. You can also write a function like this. So what we'll do is do A, B, C, and come here and do the same thing. Return A plus B plus C. So this function basically, what it does is add 2 numbers and add 3 numbers. Something that does something. So if at any point in time you want to add 2 numbers in your code, or you need the value for 2 numbers in your code, instead of going about writing this same function everywhere, you can just do add 2 numbers, then if you do 2 numbers, automatically it gives you the value for those 2 numbers. If you want to add 3 numbers, do the same thing. And then I say you have a function that does something. So in larger codes, for instance, you have functions that handle login, you have functions that handle logout, you have functions that handle fetching of data, you have functions that handle post request. You have different functions all over the app. So these functions do the same thing in different places. So you don't have to keep writing the function anytime you want to use it. So you have to have edit once, then use the variable and make it perform the action you want it to do. Do you understand? So we've talked about the let me illustrate how to use this now. So for instance, we want to add, let's say, 10 plus 20. And what we can do is just do add number, then put it in brackets, then put the 2 values. So this 30 automatically becomes A here, and this 50 automatically becomes B here. So what happens is A translates to 30, so we have 30 instead here, and B translates to 50, we have 50 instead here. So let's console log and see. If we go to our console, our console, yes, we have 80 because 50 times 30 is equals to 80. And we can as well change the number and say we don't want to add 50 and 30 again. We want to have 50 and 150. If you check our console, what we have is 200. So this does not know what number is coming in, but adds the number for you automatically. Now, I asked a question yesterday, and I said, what happens if you enter only one value? What happens? And if you enter 3 or 4 values, since you are expecting only 2 values, what happens? So I'll give, for guys that were in class yesterday, I know Adama was in classes today, and Divan was in classes today, Kenny was in classes today, Adeni was in classes today, Alaji was in classes today. So I'll require you guys that are in classes today, kindly give me an answer. What happens if we add more numbers and less numbers to that function? What happens? You can mute your mic and let's talk.
Sir, please, can you repeat the question, sir?
Okay. Yesterday in class, I asked you guys to go back and test the function, adding lesser value than you're expecting and more value than you're expecting. What happens if you do that? Abimbola was the class today, sorry. So who's going to answer for us? Who is going? So nobody did that.
So I am sorry, your question is not that clear, sir. Can you please?
Okay, so let me illustrate it now. So for instance, like yesterday we had this particular function, and the particular function is taking two numbers, A and B. So if you provide two numbers now, what happens automatically is that A adds B and you get your answer. So I'm asking now, if I come here and put 200, what happens? If I come here and put only 50, what happens?
It will not run.
Totally forgot what the answer. I didn't remember. Okay. They said they forgot. So I'll send it out to you guys to do what you need to do. I won't touch it and I won't talk more about it. So basically, these are running functions that requires you doing what you need to do. So something that does something, this particular function asks two numbers, this one asks three numbers, and you can have many functions that do different things. So for what we need to do today, and let me check the time. This is 10:04. So we have about 30 minutes to treat this. So we are going to deep dive into arrays and array methods. So I'm going to open a new folder. I'll provide this report to you guys. So I'll open a new folder and I'll name it class 3 003. And this is our new folder. We have our index.html. So I will be able to access it on the web page HTML. I also have our app.js. And let me close everything, close all. Yes. So we have a fresh page. We have our boilerplate. We'll link our file here. Don't forget to add the depart key. Yes. So now we are going to treat arrays and array methods. So we all know what an array is. Like I said, it's a tray that carries many items. You can add several items to it as much as you like. And as promised to teach you guys how to access items in an array. So what we'll do now is, how can you initialize an array? Like I said earlier, you can just simply say const fruit is equals to this. With this, we initialize an array. As of now, the array is empty, but you initialize an array. There's also a way to initialize an array, which is rarely used, and there are use cases for it. You can also say const fruits is equals to new array. Now, notice I'm using a capital letter for this, and I'm putting it in a bracket. So these are the two major ways to initialize an array. You can do this, which is like most likely very simple, and you can also do this. Now, in use cases where you have to do this is, for instance, you are expecting like several strings. I want to convert the strings automatically to an array. You use this. So let's say, for instance, now let's particularize it. Let's say const animals is equals to. Please give me a list of animals, and I forget cats and let's see
Dog,
Right?
dogs, elephants.
Elephant, lion.
Good job, good job. Animal, cat,
lion.
Okay. What I'm trying to illustrate is when you want to
Python.
Baboon.
Baboon. Keep double O. Baboon. Elephant.
Dog.
Cow.
Cow.
Zebra.
Zebra.
Good.
And so on and so forth. Let's not take all of our time and name animals, and so on and so forth. Now we have a variable called animals that holds cats, baboon, elephant, cow, and zebra. But is this an array? Can we call animal an array?
No.
We can't. Why? Because it's not initialized to this. So let's say, for instance, now we're expecting data somewhere, but we need that data to be an array. But we don't know what kind of data is coming in, or if we are sure it's going to be an array. What we can do now is simply say this is equals to what? Animals. What this does automatically, and let's check our console. Let me do console log, and let's console log fruit now. So let's let me run this. Let's make it. Let's change it. Oh, okay. So if you notice, we have what? Zebra. But something dicey happened. I'll go more into it moving forward. But I just want us to note something. So our data here is in a bracket. But what we got back, or let's do type of let's do like this. What we got as we console log animal, if you notice, it's an array. Rather, let me increase it. Yes, we have an array here because we have this square bracket compared to what we have here initially, which is D. But something dicey happened. All these items were left out, and only zebra came on. That's it. No. Now, this is also put at the back of your mind because I can't keep saying everything to you guys. This is a weird behavior, and you noticed it. Now, I'll put it to you guys. Addition to why or how to add many items and less items to a function. Take it to you and keep it by yourself. I would have loved to say it, but I also want you guys to like put in the work and tend to do things yourself. So this
Sorry, can you say the question again?
Why does the last item? No, I won't tell you the answer. Why does the last item in this particular variable shows instead of, because you're expecting to see cat, baboon, elephant, cow, and zebra here because all you have in the animals. Your animals holding cat, baboon, elephant, cow, and zebra. But if you take your console, you can only see zebra there. Where are the rest? So I want you guys to go down and make research personally. I'd love to say it, but no, I won't do that. Let's make this class interactive. Our next class, I'll ask you guys the questions, and you guys will explain it to me. If anybody has an answer now, I'll allow you to explain it to us. Then, if you are wrong or right, now, I like this. Let's go.
Okay. This is because array actually requires indexing range of the particular items that you want. So, and when you said this thing, you didn't specify the range from index 0 to the last one. So what it does is it just pick the last item automatically. But if you had specified the range, then the range you specified would have been listed in the array.
Perfect. So, like we said something the last class that for arrays, the keyword is the index, and it starts from 0, 1, 2 to infinity. But for you to note it, you have to provide an index, and I'll illustrate that after this. So you can say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items here. But if I come and say, let's check our fifth item. So I'll copy this now. Or better still, I'll convert this to an array. I'll just convert this to an array. And let's play some games now. So instead of let me do animals. And for you to index or for you to show a particular part or a particular variable, for instance, we have cat, baboon, elephant, cow, and zebra. So if I want to find elephant now, elephant is the third item here. So I can say 1, 2, 3. If I put 3 here, ordinarily it's supposed to show the elephant because I mean 1, 2, 3. The third item here is the elephant. But who can tell me, just using the chart, what do we get? What do we get? Cow.
Cow.
Yeah, perfect. Cow. But let's check our console now. Check our console. You see, we have cow. And the reason is solely because I always start the accounting from 0. So automatically, this starts with 0, then becomes 1, becomes 2, becomes 3, and becomes 4. So we have 5 items ordinarily, but if you want to access anything here, you have to start counting from 0. And that's how you index. Do you understand? So if I come and change it to 2, to be 0, 1, 2, I'm supposed to see an elephant. I'm seeing an elephant. If you want to access the last item, we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we start with 4 because starting from 0 is to give you 4. Now let's say you have 1 million items on the array, and this is for us, quickest finger. Let's say you have 1 million items on the array, and you can't start counting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. How do you want to get to 1 million? It's practically very, very, very hard. You understand? Now there's a way to quickly access the last item. Quickly access last item. The house, anybody can quickly do that. We'll learn together. Mike A, yes, I'm with you. Mike.
Yeah, I have a question. Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
When the array picked the last that's zebra, what if in this scenario you don't know how many arrays you have and you wanted to present everything at once? What are you going to do about that? I don't know if my question, understand my question.
Yeah, I get a question. So for instance,
Okay.
we have
like in a scenario, because
like
I'm imagining that if you're working with a large amount of data and you don't know how many array string you have or arrays you have, like the content in the arrays, and you want everything to come out at once. You don't want, like, for example, you don't want it to just be just the last number.
You want all the items.
All the items out.
Yes, so there's a method called concat. So concat basically merge all items, and I intend doing it brief by brief. But let's particularize it. Let's particularize it. So we have animals here. This is what Adama was saying. I don't think it works. But let's do something fun. So let's say we have animals, or just wait. Let me see what. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah. Let me see. Two ways now. For instance, if I console animals and I go back to the array, what we have is cats, baboons, elephants, cow, and zebra. Everything pops up. But let's say, for instance, now we have like all these arrays now, and I want to merge the animals and food together. So what we can do basically is say, let me use another const to hold it. Let's use the const all variables. So I'll use var short it. Now say, okay, let's say animals dot concat. Then we have our food. So what this automatically translates to is, if we are copying our function now, this concatenates and merges into this. So let's check and see what we have. Now you have the cat, the baboon, the elephant, the cow. As I when this one stop, what happens is that adds the rest. So we have rice, we have beans, we have yam, and we have egg here. Do you understand? So this concat method basically adds, if you have several items in an array, basically adds it. But in a case where, hold on, just, so let me attend something.
Anything again?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
The question now is, what if I don't want to concact the variables for animals and food together, and I just want on the console.log, I just want the answer to come out directly, such that the variable animal and food will all come out as the result of the array list, or of the array rather. How do we go about it? Or how do I?
Sorry,
Abdul is muted.
Yeah, I'm here now. Sorry, I'm back. My cat was misbehaving. So I was getting a question. It said, what if you want to what you don't want to concat it, you just want only one item. So you want your animals to just be the cat, the cow, the elephant, and zebra. Yeah.
No. What I mean is, you have the constant animal, you have the constant food. Now I want it so that the result will be on the console.log, that all the array of animal and food will be as the result, but then I will be imputing it directly inside the console.log this thing. I wouldn't want a situation whereby I will be creating a variable for, like you created for all var first, and then you now say animals.concat then food. I wouldn't want to go that route. Just go straight to the console.log.
You simply do this and check your console. What you see is cat, baboon, elephant, cow, and zebra. So also, if you switch and you do this, let's show you, and you come back to your console, what you see is rice, beans, yam, and egg. Is that what you're asking?
Now, I want it to be that after listing all the animals, the continuation of the array will still be on listing the foods.
Wait, I don't get it. The continuation of the array is on.
After listing the animals up to zebra, comma, then I will now see rice, comma, beans, comma, yam, comma, egg.
That's concatenation.
That's what we did here. So we have this, we have this. You say you don't want to use the Oliver. Why I use the Oliver?
Exactly.
It's easier. I can equally say, okay, let's move the over. I can say consider log. So you don't want to use over, you want to do this. So let's check our console.
Thank you,
So
sir.
you can see the guys, baboon, elephant, blah blah blah. But why I use this particularly, and I'll advise you guys to, is because if you're writing code, code's supposed to be step by step. Do you understand? So it's from one step, and you must write code that are very, very readable. Do you understand? So if I'm reading your code now and I come here and see also log animal.contact in my own place you skipped a step because this particular one is too long. Do you understand? So this can be in place of this. You can just say const my var is equals to this. So it's easy, it's easier, and I'll explain why. It's easier to use this my var all over your app than using animal.concat field. Let's say for
Very
instance now
true.
you want to use this particular line in 50 places. Do you go ahead? Which is variable? Are you using my var in 50 places or using animal.concat field in 50 places? So this is more readable, and that's why I opted to use this method. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Is that clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So, I intend coming from top to bottom, but now I've created the concat. So I'll just include it here. Or let me just go on. Then when we get to the concat, would treat that. So the first one I intend treating is it of length. Now I can come and say, let's console the log. Console, no, ASCII transcript. So now let me initialize again. Let's say const students is equals to an empty array. Now this is an empty array. I can eventually fill up this array in another method, and you can use the indexing to fill up the array.
Sorry, there was
Normally,
a question. Yeah, there was a question you did not answer. The one
yeah.
you said if you have up to 1 million elements or
Okay, you said
items.
the last item on an array. Perfect.
Yes.
I would I would just cheat for me. No worry, I'm going to get there. Ticket. I'm going to get there. So I want to treat all
Okay.
methods, but I want to start from the top to the bottom. Like this concat is supposed to be like the 7th or the 8th in the list, but I have to bring it up now. Also, shifting or shifting, then check the last index to -1. All those things will come on. Do you understand? Do you understand?
Yes, yes.
So moving forward now I want us to fill up an empty array using an index. And to do that, now since you already know how on earth, since you already know how to fill up our student array now, this is an MC array. I also have idea of what indexing means. We can simply say, okay, I want the first index now. And since the variable basically is students, I can come in and say students 0 is equals to fine. And I'll come and say students 1 is equals to Ibukun. I'll come and say students 2 is equals to Adama. Now we have an MC array, and we've initialized the first item here to be divine, second item here to be Ibukun, third item here to be Adama. So let's console log student and see what we have. So we have divine, Ibukun, Adama automatically in an array. You can also switch it and say, okay, you want this one to be 2, I want this one to be 1. And if you come to your console, you see it switch. So this is another way of illustrating or adding items to an array. Now to go to the methods, because we talked about initializing and how to add items. To go to the methods, the first one we'll talk about is the length. So how to check the length of an array. With the help of JavaScript, they provide us with keywords like length, for each, to uppercase, to lowercase. These particular keywords or these particular properties help us convert our variables to a particular string type that we want. But for this particular dot length, so dot length practically maps through an array and gives us the count in that array. So let's say animal dot length now. So if you check animal dot length, let me remove this and let me remove this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go back to our function confirm. We're having 5 items. Notice how the dot length does not follow the rule of indexing from 0. No. What it does is it counts it per head. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you as a developer, if you want to access an item is array, you have to put in the back of your mind that starting from 0, not 1. But by using the dot length, then most definitely you're going to illustrate it like that. So dot length basically is just checking the length of an array. You can also use it as an object. For now, I'm talking about array, so just talk about the length. So length checks the number of items in an array. So for the second one, we are going to touch on at. So the at keyword also is more or less like an indexing. So we can say want to check returns the item for a specific index. Perfect. So we can also say, oh, let's console log what is at 3. So console.log, let's use food this time. Food at let's say 3. Let me remove this and let's check our console. So we have egg. So basically, it's more or less like an indexing rather than using the food, because alternatively, what we would have done is doing this. So whatever is similar or easier for you to work with, that's what you do. But you can also use ask keyword. It also returns a particular index of an item. The next one we're dealing with is the join. So we can say number 3, let's do join. Join. This, like the word join, this like you pack all the items, then merge them together. But there are ways to do it. So for instance now, just all the items together. Let's keep console.log and I'll illustrate it to you. So let's say we want to join animal join. Now let's just join with an empty string. So this is an empty string now. And let's check our console. You can see the cat, the baboon, the elephant, the zebra, everything is merged into one word. If you want to put a space to it now, you can come and put a space. Then if you come back, you see cat, baboon, elephant. But notice there's no bracket here. There's no square bracket here. So this gives you word particularly. You can also do star. Anything you put in here will be what to join into it. If you come, you can see and. If you put 1, 2, 3, if you come, you see 1, 2, 3. So this is a particular way to join your items. But whatever goes inside this particular string here is what sticks with it. So that's what it joins it with. So you can put star, you can put hash, anything you put is what it joins it with. Do you understand? So we'll talk about the joining method. Our next method is the pop and push. So for the next method, that's number 4. We'll talk about pop. But let's talk about push. So push adds
Please scroll up.
items. Scroll up, yeah, I'm scrolling up. So push adds items to the end of an array. Do you understand? So for instance, now we have our animal, but we don't have a lion in this animal. But we want lion to come after zebra. You can come here and say console.log. Console.log animal.push. Then I'm adding lion to the end of the array. So what happens is if I check my console now, so I'm putting length. Let me see. So, let's go do this. Then console. Let's see. Yes. So ideally we push before we check. What I did initially was just to add the lion and consolidate it automatically. So I broke a step. Now I said everything happens to be step by step. So what I did now is adding lion to the end, and I'm checking it. So if you check our console now, you see lion being added to the end of the array. So if you use pop as the word pop, something pops, something goes out. Number 5 is pop. Also very similar to what we do. Number 5 is pop. Also something pops out of the array and something push to the array. So just use this.
Sorry, please, I'm lost. I know that it's not your fault actually. Like I was at some point I lost the conversation. Please, can you just rephrase again? Sorry.
Let's start from the top. So I was discussing the methods. And methods are like keywords you can use on a string, on an array. So the first one we talked about was length. Length basically checks the number of items in an array. So if you use like an array now is an animal. So if you use animal.length, it returns the number of items on that particular array. You can also use art. Art is also like the indexing. So you can do food at 3 and returns the second item because you count from 0 in that array. Or you can also do this. So this is like a way to use the art keyword, more or less like the square brackets. They also did the join. So join simply merge all items in an array. What determines what join them is this particular string here. So you put an empty string on this join, then it combines everything together. You said so it combines everything together. If you put 1 here, it combines everything with 1. If you put star or plus, it combines everything with plus. So basically, join is like a keyword that allows you add several items or merge your items with an indicator or separator, basically. I also have the push. So the push enables you add items to the end of an array. So we have cat, baboon, elephant, cow, and zebra. So if you want to add another item to this particular array, you can use the push. So what you do first is to push the item, then check the item. So here we are pushing lion to the end of the array, and we construct animals, and we notice that we got lion at the end of the array. Initially, there was no lion here. Check, no lion here, but we enabled it by pushing push. So let's remove an item and remove that same lion place now. So let's come and let's say pop. So pop significantly does not require you to add a keyword. Like as we have now, we have to add what's the name? Lion for it to add the lion to the next. You can just say animal dot pop. What this does automatically is it's just remove. You said scroll up. I didn't hear you. So what this does automatically is that it removes the item at the end of the array. So if we check our animals now, we have zebra. So what we expected to see on the console is an array without zebra, and that will happen. That pops removes the zebra from the array. We also have the shift and unshift. Now, similarly to what we have for the pop and push, this one, the push and pop, this will be the last item of the array. The shift and unshift, this will be the first item in the array. So let's particularize it. Let's say shift. So if you are saying shift now, basically you are shifting the first item. So we'll come here and say, let's use our animals again. Animal dot shift. What is similar to pop, but what happens is it removes the first item. So I can come and say console.log animals. I'm not expected to see the first animal. So let's check what the first animal is. The first animal is cat. So if I check on my console, because I'm using a shift keyword here, I'm supposed to see cat. And yes, cat is gone. We have baboon, elephant, cow, and zebra. So basically, shift removes the first item of an array. Then we can also do on shift. On shift adds to the beginning of an array. And similarly to what push does, we just have to add what we need to add. But this particular item is focused on shifting to the first part of the array. So I can say animal.shift now. I'm adding lion. Automatically, lion comes first in the array. So let's try and console log and see animals. We have cat. I think yes, cat are the first item as well. But if we check, what we have now is lion instead of cat. So these are some methods that enables you to move items. Now, question to the house. If, for instance, now I want to add like an item, but I want it to be in fourth. I want it to be the fourth item in the array. What will I do? Chat.
Didn't hear you, sir.
I said if, for instance, I want to add zebra or giraffe to the fourth item in the array, what do I need to do?
You add the index.
Okay. Can you direct me? I'm just starting to code today. So help me. What should I type? Console dot console. On shift. Console log on shift. I'm trying to add. These are animal now. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What I want is after elephant, I want to see giraffe here. What do I need to do?
Yes, sir. Excuse me, sir. Please, who is Mark?
Yes. So if you want to talk now, just put up your hand and I'll call you. Who wants to speak? Nobody. Okay. I'll go and explain. So for instance, like I explained earlier, if I want to add like an item now to 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want giraffe to come after elephant. Elephant here is the second item as per index. So what I need to do is say animal, then I'll come and say 3 is equals to giraffe. If I come and console animals here, and I check my console, what I have is cat, baboon, elephant, then giraffe, which I said I wanted. So this is like a way to particularly for items where you want it to be. And we also have the delete keyword. So this is like a small example. We also have the delete keyword. So we can say number 8, we can say delete. So delete basically similar to what happens to the shift and pop. You can remove an item from an array. But for shift and pop now, you know, is you're removing the first and the last. But with this now, I can say animal at second or a second dot delete. So with this now, I'm expected to remove the third item in our array. So I go on and console.log with animals and I check animals. It should work. Delete. I use this wrongly. I was used to the way we are doing it. I said P. So what I'm saying basically now is delete animals, but fine with the fourth item now because I'm using the word 3. Find the fourth item and hit it. So let's check it and see. So yes, it becomes empty. So cat, baboon, elephant. Then the item that's supposed to be here, which is supposed to be giraffe, I think, becomes empty automatically. Then it's deletes. So we can also merge items, like I illustrated. And using merge is the concatenate, as I said earlier. So number 9, merging. And I illustrated it by saying you can use concatenate to do that. So you can say console.log. Let's take the long cuts. Animals dot concat. Then we're adding fruits. So with this now, we've added 2 arrays. We're adding animals and we're adding food. So if we check our this, we are going to see this. So this is how to concat items. There are other items basically, but these are the major types that you'll be dealing with that in array. I'll give you guys an assignment. You are going to list other types aside this 9. There are plenty. I think they are up to maybe 15, 16. I think yes. So you guys give me the rest. But for now, let's do this 9. And I think my time is up. It's almost 11. I spent 1 hour 45 minutes. So I'll be taking questions from you guys now. Okay, yes, I said something about accessing the last item, and I didn't touch that. So what would have to do now? Let's say for instance, we have 1 million items, and I don't know the length basically, and I want to access the last items. So you can say how to access the last item in an array. So let's use animal for instance now. So we say animal or last const last animal is equals to the animal array dot length minus 1. And I hinted this by saying the minus keyword initially. I was not supposed to, but yeah. So if you want to find the array of the last item of an array, first off, we're going to check the length. We are going to minus 1. So let's illustrate and see. We have zebra supposed to be the last item. Let's console log and see. So let's console log last animal. Last animal. And let's go with I'm looking at that. Put animals. Yes, this is the correct way. So why I did this, and I'll explain it to you guys now. Animal is an array, yeah, but this particular string here, animal.length, what it does is for it to find the particular length of it. So let's say for instance now, I'm trying to translate this. So we have animals. An animal is 5. Let's say there are 5 animals on the array, but we don't know that yet because we don't know the number of animals. So what I'm going to do is say animal.length. So this number can be 4, can be 5, can be 6, can be anything. So once we return the number, then we minus 1 from it. This is what I'm trying to say now, basically. Like if you translate this to this, you're trying to say this particular keyword here finds the number, basically, the minus 1 from it. That's what it does. So to find the last item of an array, you have to include the animal, which is that array itself, holding the animals. Then you use this to check the length, the minus 1 from it. So let's confirm if we are correct this time. Yes, zebra is the last animal. And let's see for a fact if we are correct. Yes, we are. So basically, like I said, we have the animals. this particular animal.length translates into a number. So this number becomes this, then you minus 1 from it. So minus 1 returns the last item from that. Find the last item in an array. Any questions? Any questions?
Sir, I noticed
Yes.
that aside from the other method, you didn't have a container to hold other thing, except for this one that you use const, that you have to use another container, another variable rather.
Yes, because we are working with just these two. So we're using these two variables all the while. So for with how method work is methods are used on variables. It's only in some cases where you want to hold the result of that variable, you put in another variable. So for instance, now you have animals now, and you want maybe the last two items or the second item to be in a variable, then you do this. And that's how I illustrated it here. Instead of using this animal.concat everywhere in our code, I just hold it with a variable. So I use this my var instead. Automatically, this my var becomes the addition of this and this. Do you understand? So if you're using the methods, you can just go ahead and use it on the variable. It's only if you want to store that variable or the result of that method in a variable, then you can do this. I can as well do this. Let me remove this. Copy, paste, and comment this one out. If I go back and check, I'm still going to get the same together. Do you understand? But I just find it easier and more readable that if you have like a variable holding a result of an action, it's best to set a variable. So in case I want to use this particular action or result 50 places in my code, I don't have to write this thing 50 times. I can actually just say last animal and it gives me the result. Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Any more questions?
Yes, I have a question. It's like I'm asking for help, Sha. The assignment that was given to us, okay, the class is interesting, I'm understanding, but I don't really know how to start implementing the JavaScript in my calculator. So I don't know if you can give me a hint how to start.
When is the assignment due?
I think it's 8 days from now, if it has not reduced to 7.
8 days from now. I'll do you guys a
Yes.
favor. Yeah. I'll
Okay.
build a tip calculator with you guys. But I'm not building the calculator app with you guys. I'll build something similar. Then you can use the concepts that I used and implement your own calculator. Do you understand? So
Okay.
I'll be something similar in tip calculator. Tip calculator is more or less like if you go to a restaurant and you want to buy or you buy something and you are paying, let's say 100 naira or 1,000 naira, it's a particular percentage that goes as tip. And this percentage will go on to include, it depends on how many people are coming. So if it's 10 people, then there'll be more tips. If it's 5 people, there'll be more tips. So it's somewhat similar to what a calculator does in terms of logic, but different concepts. So I can do that for you guys. Then you guys will draw concepts from it, then build your calculator out. Is that clear?
Okay, thank you, sir.
No problem. Any more questions? Is there anything you guys don't understand yet? Or anything you're finding hard to understand? Then we'll take note and place it in our class. Anything? Nothing. So, okay, Clifford, hi. I can't hear you clearly.
Some of the class, we are talking about downloading
You have notes in 10 minutes. So, yeah, now, you say you have notes in 10 minutes. Please text me the numbers. Okay, somebody's already. I asked somebody to text me his number. Please text me your number. Kashi, just ask a question before you.
Sorry, please, can you hear me? I have a question. She asked about the assignment. I didn't really get your answer. Sorry. I didn't really get the answer you gave.
I was going to build. I might, now it's myself, not was again. I might help you guys with a project similar to a calculator app. Here's almost the same logic. So you guys can use what I did there to implement your calculator. Might is not certain. So let's see how it goes. How my mood is then is something we can do. Kechi, let's take it before we go. They have question by.
Sorry, you were
They have a
saying at the starting of the class, you were talking about downloading your JS. So someone asked, I was like, how do we
I can't
download
hear
that?
you. You're very low. You say what?
Can you hear me?
Your voice is low. I can't hear you clearly.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I said at the start of the class, you mentioned something about downloading video JS when you're showing us something on terminal.
Hey, just text on the chat. Text on the chat. I didn't get you. Text on the chat.
She said
Uh-huh.
when we are starting the class, you mentioned Node.js at the terminal.
Yes.
Okay, I think she wants to know how to download it, if I'm correct. I don't know.
Let me send you the link. You can type node download on Google. Then you I'll put the link on the chat now. Chats. So you can just click on this link. So this is the link, and you can click on it. It's not Node.js, so it's just like Node like it's a package.
Sorry, if we have VS Code, we are supposed to download this one separate. So.
You see, you guys have class in 10 minutes, so I have to go. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Wait.
I'll catch you guys. Or just chat me up on Slack, I'll reply you guys. Take care of yourselves.
Bye.
You guys know how to go again. We're done.
I said that if we have VS Code, should we still download the Node.js?
It does not affect anything. Node.js is not an IDE. It's not Node.js, so Node. I don't say you download Node.js. Please download Node. Just go on your browser, just Node download. Then it's the first link you see. Click on it. Then you download it. It's like a package manager. It helps you understand keywords like npm, nps, blah.
No. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks for banking with us.
Hello, can you hear me?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Can you hear me?
Hi.
Yeah, speak. We can hear you.
Okay, please, when will you upload this on the platform? When will you upload
on YouTube?
Yes. Even the last class we had for JavaScript, I've not seen it.
Yes, you upload everything. You upload everything. I'll ask you to do it today. So most likely by today's end, you will do it.
Okay, today, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I'll give you guys the assignment also, so you guys be ready.
Okay.
Eshegon. Bye.
Bye.
All right, thank you, sir.
Bye.
All right, sir.
Bye.
All right, sir.
Bye.
Okay, all right, bye. Thank you very much.
Bye. Bye. Everybody,
Bye.
All right, sir.
Bye.
Oh, good.